And here we are on LinkedIn Live because it's Thursday at 1 p.m. And today we're talking about how to become a career coach and also why one might consider becoming a career coach. I'll tell you why I started career coaching and why it might be something for you to consider. And if you are thinking about becoming a career coach, how to do it. So let's dive in. The reason most people tell me that they decide to become a career coach is either that they're doing it already, they're career coaching their friends and family members, and so they might as well do it as a business and help more people and be more intentional about the way they do career coaching. And because they see that, that's number one reason. And number two reason is because they see so many people looking for a job or looking for help with their career path and the progress of their career confused. Let's face it, careers are so much more confusing today as a topic than they were when, certainly when I was a kid. It was pretty simple. I mean, I really come from the era when women were just starting to get into, call it what you will, corporate jobs, the rat race, that sort of thing. But there was very little conversation about careers when I was in high school, almost none. And I thought it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be a Broadway star or something. I'm going to be something that doesn't fall into a traditional career path in any case, so I'm not worried about it. But then I did end up in the business world and figured it out, right? The same way you probably did, because there really wasn't a lot of guidance. And here's the thing, still, all these years later, 40 years later, there's still not much guidance for young people looking at what should I do when I grow up? How am I going to make my way in the world? It's actually shocking that we have so many resources. I don't know if you're like me, but I get constant mailers and things from the hospitals in my area, which is great. And they say, come into a free session about heart issues or whatever, some health thing or back problems, whatever, but not about careers. Who's teaching us how to do a career, how to get a job, how to brand yourself, how to decide what kind of job you want when you're on the job, how to get what there is to get out of the job and then think about your next job, and overall how to manage your career, because we have to manage our careers now. Your employer's not going to do that anymore like they used to do in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. That era is gone. It's not coming back. Now we are all the CEO of our own career. We have the wheel we have to drive. But who is going to tell us how to do that? I was an HR person. That's my background. Thousands of years in HR, leading HR teams, and I loved it. And I gave so much casual career advice to people who would come into my office to talk about absolutely anything. Sometimes saying, I don't think I want to work here anymore. It's a great place. You guys are great, but I got to do something else. I want to do something more involved with X or Y that has nothing to do with our business. Fine, absolutely great. How can I help you? Well, could you take a look at my resume? Of course. Bing, bing, bing. I have these suggestions, this, that, and the other thing, right? Goodwill. My view is in HR or any job, right? Really, if you build that goodwill and that trust, that person may leave, they may say good things about the company, they may send their friends to come and work with you. What am I going to say? No, I can't help you get another job outside of here. If you don't want to work here, and now you're on your own. No, right? Human first, always. It's a person first. It's my colleagues, my friend, and then they happen to work for us, right? Life is long, paths cross, and putting good energy out there is a million times more important than trying to keep this person here for another 2 weeks or something like that, right? Just logical. So I didn't do career coaching though when I left the corporate world. I was doing consulting, people strategy consulting, and consulting around recruiting. And I was speaking and writing. I wasn't doing career coaching. And then a friend of mine, my friend Susan, said, you should do career coaching. I said, what? There's so many career coaches already. Nobody needs me to be career coaching. She said, I really think you would learn a lot. You would learn a lot about the process, and you like to deconstruct processes, Liz, and look at them and see where they work and where they don't work. I really think you would get into this recruiting thing, what's broken about recruiting. This was a 2007. I said, well, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Once you put a microscope on it and you look at every step of the process, you say broken, 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 broken. And I started to share career advice in columns for the Chicago Sun Times first, and then Business Week and the Kiplinger's Finance and Forbes, and here on LinkedIn and all over. And I said, "Wow, the whole thing is broken from start to finish." It's good to see that it's broken because then you can improve it, but you can improve it from both sides. What employers do is super broken. And in response to that, what job seekers have been doing in their quest to find a new job is also broken, or at least not effective, not effective. And so I started to build a curriculum to teach people actually how to get a job, but from an empowered place, and to run their career from an empowered place. That's the whole point, is to give you your power back. Let me take a quick pause and look at see some of these comments that you have been leaving. Thank you for those. Hello, hello. Okay. See what we have. Welcome, welcome, everybody. People are most important asset. Yes, often said. Okay. So the reason I became a career coach is because I thought the process would benefit from a closer examination. And out of that, I learned a ton and taught however many thousands of people how to get new jobs and run their careers, and also created a curriculum that we have taught to, I think, about 20,000 people now through our online courses. And now I'm about to start teaching other folks how to teach our methods and become career coaches on their own, to work independently as career coaches, or for folks who are already working as career coaches on their own or in an institution. I'm teaching them as well how to teach our non-traditional principles of job search in particular, and career management in general. So, how to run your career like a business, which is really what we're trying to do. And so, this is my way of saying, look, I am one voice, and I have 24 hours a day like everyone else. So, I will deputize and teach and equip a small group of people to teach and do career coaching using my methods, which is really exciting for me because it means that many more people can have that sort of hands-on, one-on-one, or small group exposure to these ideas: human voice resume and pain letters, and getting altitude on your career, and the hiring process, and what you want out of your career, and then going into an interview with confidence and spinning the table, and all the things that we teach. So, Peter has a question. Why is it so difficult for HR to give feedback after an interview with them? Two-part answer there, Peter. In terms of, yes, we're going forward with you as a candidate, or no, we're not, it should not be hard for them to get that answer, and they should get that to you within 2 days of an interview. Really, there's no reason why they would want to, why there would be any excuse for delaying. Maybe a third day, but the in-depth feedback, here's why we didn't hire you, for example. A lot of people ask me, why don't companies tell you why they didn't hire you? Think about it. Think about it, right? You're going on dates with numerous people for some reason. In the month of October, you go on 6 dates, and you decide to have a second date with one of those people and not the others. Is there a clear reason? No, it was the quality of their thinking, or the experience seemed a little more germane, or there isn't a reason. They can't say you were lacking this. Maybe in 1927 they could say you don't have the electrical skills that we need, or you don't have the pipe fitting skills. But in knowledge work, which is a lot of what the people do who are on LinkedIn, these are very fine distinctions, and there isn't some clear reason that they can say you were lacking this or you were short on that. what they say is true. It's a hard decision. I'm sorry it's not more satisfactory, but think about it. If you were hiring a nanny to watch your children and you interviewed three or four candidates and you hired one, what would the reason be? You didn't hire the other people. There's nothing wrong. They're perfect nannies. They could nanny for someone else, but in this case, you chose that person. It was energetic. It was this. It was that. Do you have a good answer? That's why they don't give you an answer. Okay. If there were something lacking in the interview and you wanted to know that, you could tell them that, but also why go into an interview thinking, if I mess it up, tell me. We're not children. I'm really asking you to step into your power. The interviewer is not superior to you. They do not have some wisdom about you that you yourself lack. Your friends probably have better advice about how you show up on an interview than a random interviewer does. And I'm just being honest, right? I want to get you out of this submissive sort of passive, you know, submissive dog posture that we've been taught. And I realize the Western Hemisphere is different and all that kind of stuff. But in general, in the world, feeling in charge of your life and knowing that you make the important decisions is a really important thing. Why won't they give me the feedback? What are they going to tell you? Sit up straighter in your chair, give better answers to questions. I mean, the internet is absolutely stuffed full of advice about how to interview and how to dress for an interview and all this kind of stuff. I would tell you, get back into your own confidence. That's going to be the most significant thing you can do before your next job interview. All right, we're going to stick with the topic, which is how and why to be a career coach. So, this is why I started a career coaching, folks. My friend Susan suggested I think you would really benefit from looking closely at this process, and it's broken. Look what the advice is to job seekers. You're going to get advice from the interviewer about why they didn't choose to hire you. This person is not your social better, right? We're going to get rid of all that. That's absurd. The idea that they tell you why. Well, I've heard a few stories from candidates who have been told, here's the reason we didn't hire you, young man. And the reason is that your socks clash with your slacks or whatever. Good, good. Don't hire me. Look at, they say an interview is all about mindset, right? It is. It is all about mindset. But here's the thing. I don't want you to go to a job interview with the mindset, they're going to like me. I'm going to rock this job interview and they're going to love me and they're going to make me the offer because I'm the best little employee ever. I want you to go to the interview with the mindset, maybe this will be the right job for me. I'm going to find out. They're going to make their determination. It might be something I'm not interested in. It's all good. Nothing is wasted. It's good. I'm here talking to them. I'm in charge. I don't have to roll over and be the submissive dog to prove to somebody that I deserve the job. It's I'm going to see. If they don't like me, maybe they don't deserve me. Maybe they're not the right people for me and I should go to the next place because I believe in myself. And I believe that the right employer is out there for me if I have the confidence in myself to keep looking for them. And if I run out of money and I have to take like a survival job, and we've all done it, and I have to have this job that isn't like calling, it doesn't pay enough, but I have this job, that's fine because I'm not going to lower myself to this idea that now I am this job. Oh well, that happened. It's a thing that happened. It's an artist that's working whatever while they're doing their next piece, or an author who's writing their next book and they're working some job that isn't their art, but they still have their art, or you're just in a cocoon getting ready to burst out as a butterfly. I want you to own your own power in your career, not give it away, not give it away and say, employers should do this, employers should do that. They will do that at their own time. But in the meantime, you're in charge of your life and you have so much more power than I think you may know. If you're looking for employers to tell you what they think you messed up at the job interview, literally doesn't matter what they think. Hire me or don't. Let me live my life. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So people start career coaching businesses to take charge of their career, to take charge of their time, to have an income, that is really based on their time availability and their interest in the topic and their, their energy for it, and to get out from the standard box, the standard corporate or institutional box where someone else kind of makes your hours and tells you what to do and all that, which can really wear on you. I did that for 20 some years and it wore on me. It took a physical and mental toll on me. And I had to get out. I also had so many little kids. I had to do my own thing. But I started, like I said, I started career coaching because I was really curious in the topic, and all of my career coaching clients over the years, but especially the early ones, taught me so much and helped me devise our non-traditional job search process and methodology, which I've talked about so much on these LinkedIn lives, getting altitude and finding the sweet spot and branding yourself for the job you want and using a human voice and reaching out to employers and interviewing from a position of altitude as well and confidence and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm getting ready to train a small group of people who may or may not have been coaches before, may or may not have been entrepreneurs before, but they will learn from me how to teach our methods and how to have their own career coaching business. So it's very fun and exciting. And I'm just telling folks who are interested in learning more about that to drop a note in my LinkedIn inbox or send me an email message at support@humanworkplace.com to find out more about how to join a small group to learn how to be a career coach and teach my courses and my curriculum, um, and get that empowerment yourself. Because I think that's the key. Everything I tell you folks on LinkedIn Live comes from this idea of you staying in your power and not giving your power away. All right, let's see how we're doing on comments. Giving feedback after an interview. Talked about that. How do you become a career coach? The first step, if you want to become a career coach, is to get altitude. As I mentioned earlier, that means stopping, putting aside your to-do list, the 15, 18 things you assigned yourself to do today, putting aside everything that's in your mind, the endless list of questions and worries and concerns and items that, you're trying to process through, and think about, if you become a career coach, what do I want out of that? Why would I do that? What would it give me? What's important to me? What's the life that I envision for myself? What is that life? What would it feel like? We moved, our family moved over the last year, from Colorado to New York State. And all we did when we were in Colorado, thinking about the move, we didn't know what town, we didn't know what, exactly, even which state. We weren't sure what state we would move to, but we knew we were going to move eastward. And we just said, what do we want to do? What do we want that to look like? What do we want to do? Where do we want to walk? What we tried to envision it in our minds, and that's the first step. What will this life as a career coach look like? What will it feel like? What will make me happy in it? What will the little frustrations in it be? Because there's always little frustrations in everything, but what will they be such that it won't deter me? It's fine, because the mission that I'm on is bigger and more enticing, and it fuels me and draws me forward, right? What is that mission for me as a career coach? And how will I work with my clients? And who will my clients be? And what will their issues be? And to let your mind sort of coalesce around this vision for you as a career coach, helping people figure out their next career move, helping them have the confidence to step into a new chapter, right? Which kind of everyone is always doing, but people in career transition really, really feel that. It feels like a big step to go into this new realm. How do you help people through that? How will you work with folks? Will it be remote over Zoom? Will it be face to face? Will it be a mix? Will you write resumes for them? Will you edit their resumes? Will you work on their LinkedIn profile with them or help them do it for themselves? How will you help them figure out their next career move, their roadmap? If they're job hunting, how will you help them brand themselves? A lot of people are not comfortable talking about themselves. It's very understandable. So, how will you help them be more comfortable with branding, whether you come up with the words or they do? And prepare for interviews and apply for jobs and go through all of those steps as well as the doubts and the fears and the emotional ups and downs that come with a transition of any type, and particularly job search, because it's so wrapped up with both income and status and identity, right? We know this. So this is the thinking that you will do as you ask yourself, what would it be like for me to be a career coach? How would that work? What would that lifestyle be like? And how would I help my clients, and what would I view as a triumph? What would the triumph be? Is it when someone gets a great job with your help? Is it when they refer their friend to work with you as a career coach? Is it when they leave you a LinkedIn recommendation and say, I can't thank you enough for this fabulous support as a career coach? So there's a lot of fun and really fizzy things to think about in this process of examining, should I become a career coach? Would that be a good thing for me? Could I do it part time alongside my full time job until my career coaching practice gets big enough for me to quit my full time job and do career coaching all the time? Is that a viable path for me? And how would I look at that progression? What would seem like a satisfying runway? So all kinds of big questions. Would I specialize in a particular group of people, like people leaving an industry perhaps, or people who want to enter an industry, or people of a certain age, or people in a certain social situation, moms returning to the workforce after having kids, or dads, right? Or any other group. So, all kinds of fun things to think about that will help you refine, what will my coaching practice look like, and how will it meet my needs in terms of my time, in terms of my income, terms of my satisfaction, and my feeling of bringing my best, really bringing myself to my work. After all, it's your creation. You build it from the ground up, this career coaching practice. So, you get to design it exactly the way that it works for you. Let's see. We have questions. Been a career coach for 21 years. This is going to get cut off here, sadly, Jane. And recently was laid off. Thinking of starting my own business gives us the ability to meet so many wonderful people. Isn't that the truth? Jane, you speak the truth. Here it is. Thank you for all your support. Not in the slightest, Jane. I cannot agree more with Jane, because career coaching, I mean, the smartest, funniest, nicest, wisest, coolest people who actually, have the wherewithal to say, I just need help with this. It's not my strong suit. And here's what I always say, why should it be? Why should it be an area of expertise for you to know exactly how to brand yourself and reach out to employers and get a job and negotiate salary? You have other areas of expertise, right? And there are people out here like Jane and me who focus on this topic and can help you through a lot of the pitfalls because we've seen them before. I get help. I pick up the phone if I need help with something that I don't know how to do, like plumbing, electricity, landscaping, right? I pick up the phone. I mean, I don't have massive like piles of cash lying around to spend on help with every single little thing. I do my own laundry, clean my own house, okay? But if I need help with something that I cannot do, I'm going to get somebody to help me. And I had a coach, not a career coach per se, because I have this business human workplace, but I have a coach. and the coach has a coach. Do you see? Another person who can get altitude on your situation and help you. It's like things come in from your coach that you said, I should have known that. No, you shouldn't have. You're living your life and it's hard. You have a heavy burden, like we all do. You have all this stuff that you have to get done. There's no reason why you should have seen that. But yes, I'm glad it was somewhat obvious after I said it, because these are the blind spots that we all have. And we don't know we have blind spots, but we can see other people's blind spots. Well, since you mentioned it, Jane, not our Jane, another Jane, since you mentioned it, you mentioned if there's anything I would want to tell you that maybe could help you make your burden lighter. Yeah, there's this one thing where, and you just tell them, right? Oh, I didn't see that. I had no idea. Yeah, you're right. I'm using one name professionally and another name in my business card, and then my friends call me another name. Nobody knows who I am. Yeah, it's a simple thing. You just get it all, consolidated or make it clear. Oh my gosh, that helps me so much, actually, mentally, emotionally, not just in my LinkedIn and on my business card and in my resume. Small things that we don't see, but our friends see them because we all have blind spots. Yeah, building a platform from the absolute ground. If you said, if I'm going to become a career coach at all, it's a big project. It's a big project starting a business. Although career coaching, I will just interject, is a much easier business to start than many, because in the United States, I'm not a lawyer in any way. I'm an HR opera singer and musical theater singer, but I don't believe there's any place that says you have to have a license to be a career coach, at least not to my knowledge. So you can start a business without taking a bunch of tests. However, you still have to do the regular stuff. You have to incorporate. It's easy, but you still have to do it. And you have to figure out a name for your business, and you have to figure out kind of a business model. Who will the clients be? What will I charge them? How will this all work out to a monthly revenue and annual revenue that I can pay my bills and have a little bit left over? I mean, it's supremely doable, and it's a project. It's a project like any business launch is a project. So because you're going to spend the time and energy, why not design it exactly the way you want it? Start there. People say that's utopian. Good, be utopian. What else are we starting a business for? To be like, I mean, it's all right. No, you start with the shining vision. Write it down. The shining vision, the vision that wakes you up in the middle of the night. Like, this is so cool now. I'm really getting into this. How cool this will be. My career coaching business, I'm going to focus on this population, and I'm going to help them with this problem. And this is a problem that people are discussing anyway, online and offline, and they're well aware it's an obstacle or it's a barrier. And I'm going to help people get through that barrier. And that's going to be my contribution, my give back, and it's going to be my work, and it's going to sustain me, and it's going to get me up in the morning. And sure, there are going to be annoying things that happen because that's life, and just whatever, something dumb, but most of the time it's going to be great. And every time I interact with my clients, I'm going to feel that energy flow in both directions, that I'm really helping them and giving them confidence and reminding them of how powerful they are. And they're also doing the same thing for me and reminding me I'm good at this. This is something I really need to be doing. And I feel the voltage between me and whatever, the universe, the earth. I feel it. I feel that connection, that this is right. Me talking with this person, this client, about their resume and their aspirations and their stories is a real high voltage, right? It's good work for me to be doing on the planet in my kind of finite and limited time that I get here. So these are the reasons that people become career coaches. And for me, I get it, right? 100%. This is what I've been living, along with traditional consulting and speaking and writing. And I have to have um I'm looking for the right word, allies. I have to have people with me, career coaches who teach our process and our mindset to people, because I'm one person and there are so many people who need help with their career issues. And so I'm teaching a small group of people to teach our courses, and and spread the human workplace word and have a business for themselves and generate an income and have the coaching business they want with the focus that they want. And that's the story. And if it's something that sounds interesting or worth talking about, drop a note in my LinkedIn inbox or send me an email at support@humanworkplace.com. As you say, career coaching is not a licensed role anywhere in the US, to my knowledge, and thus you have no standards to enter into practice. Well, that's true. It's just like recruiting. I could turn to my cat if I had a cat right now and say, I'm a recruiter, and so could you. There's no professional standards, but the standards sort of I have standards, obviously, in our company for who will work with us in this way. But I can't stop anybody in the universe who wants to be a career coach, nor would I try. Right? They will succeed or fail based on the quality of the work they do for their clients, and I wish them all the best. Right? And here's the thing. Here's the thing, Rich. Do not be confused about this. Certification and licensing only goes so far. We all know it. We all know it from our lives. Taking a test, sitting down, I'll tell you what, okay? We're going to be real right now. I was probably 30 or so when the HR certification craze came in. Everybody needs a certification. You got to take this test, like $7,500. It's a written test. It's a, you answer the questions. It's knowledge that you learned. It's actually rote learning. I learned all the answers on the test and now I'm certified. What? It's HR. It's HR. It's human resources. It's listening. It's empathy. It's being able to ask hard questions. It's having the fortitude right here in the pit of your stomach when you think, if I say this thing that this executive needs to hear and there's only me to say it, I could lose my job, but I still have to say it anyway. Is there a test for that? Is there a test for walking into difficult conversations, shaking it off, doing a few jumping jacks? Okay, I gotta have this conversation. Boom. Is there a test for that? So then let's not talk about licensing and certification. Yes, 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 of course. You're selling meat, USDA, grade A certified, whatever. You're selling eggs. Yes, I get it. But career coaches, seriously? What test are they going to have that isn't learning out of a book? And why would that be in the slightest bit relevant? Why? Why? Now you're going to make me sing about it. ICF is believed to be the gold standard. That's like for life coaches, I think. But what do I know? And certification boards are money makers. This is the truth, though. This is the literal truth. Certification boards are money makers. Get certified. Some are more useful than others. Key is degree of clinical supervision. Not even the clinical supervision. Come on, clinical. It all comes from the top. And if you start with a certification and licensing mindset, how good can the clinical supervision be? Understand what I'm saying? My clinical supervision or assessment or evaluation of a coach in action is going to be a million degrees different than the standard view. And that's what we got to look at. The taxonomy, the hierarchy, right? The system. So I'm not, doesn't hold any water with me. Clinical supervision and sort of, yeah, okay. What is your fee schedule and how did you determine it? Oh, Lynn, this is a genius question. The fees that career coaches charge vary, of course, based on what? Geography, right? The kind of coaching they want to do, the population that they're working with, all of these things, and the service delivery model. And this is what I'm going to be teaching these new or established career coaches. So let's talk about service delivery first. A very common way to meet with a career coach is one-on-one in a physical place or over Zoom for a 1 hour, 50-minute, 1 hour meeting, whatever. Maybe a longer initial meeting to get the whole intake, the person's career history, their goals right now, where they feel stuck, that sort of thing, right? And some career coaches will sell you one session. Some of them will do a free session or a free mini session to check out, is this a good fit? Some of them will charge you for the initial session and then bundle that amount that you paid in other words, deduct it from a program if you buy a program of successive sessions. Some career coaches have a bundle that says, look, I will meet with you X times. I will create a resume for you. I will review your LinkedIn profile. I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll do a mock interview, and it's a bundled fee, right? There are any number of variations, and people do very well with all of them. It really, really depends on the coach and the audience and the issues they are discussing. Obviously, if you were working with kids 19 years old looking for their first job, 18, 19, 17, and it could be a group program, right? Could be at the high school or at a community center, and the high school or the community center, out of their development funds, whatever, they pay you directly, and you go and meet with a class full of these adorable kids, and talk to them about careers. And maybe that's part of your coaching business. And maybe some of the parents say, what, actually, if you could help, if you could meet with this child, for an hour at the coffee shop, I think it would really help them with their confidence. I say that you're great and you'll get a job, but they don't believe me. And then you have a service for that. So it's going to be very situational based on your audience and the kind of coaching you do. Let's see. Let's see what we have in the comments. Doesn't look like anything new other than the earlier questions about interviews. I think we kind of exhausted that topic. So when you're starting a career coaching business, the first thing you're going to do is visualize what your business is going to be, because you have to start with that vision. Everything proceeds from there. The name of the company. Maybe there's no name. Maybe it's just your name, right? Your name, John Smith, career coach. Beautiful, right? Or maybe there's a name. And if there's a name, what's the significance of the name? Is it part of your branding? Is it going to bring you interest or clients? That's a topic for some weekend contemplation. What kinds of services would you like to offer? There's a wide variety of services that career coaches can offer, from helping people assess their career situation in various ways to determining a career direction, branding themselves for that career direction, writing a resume, creating a LinkedIn profile or upgrading it, helping them reach out to employers through all of the channels, recruiters, and the direct approach that we teach, and online applications and networking and consulting, about how to make money during a job search, which is typically temping, contracting, or consulting. Teach them how to interview, how to follow up after interviews, how to negotiate job offers, how to handle a situation where they're dealing with multiple employers at once, which is very common nowadays. We have these talent wars, right? How to work with recruiters is a wonderful subtopic, and it's a big one because it's not trivial. I don't think I've talked about that on LinkedIn Live. So that's a really good idea. How to work with recruiters. We shall have that coming up. Yeah. So there's a lot to teach, and there's many, many, many people that want to learn this information. Career services organizations on campuses, workforce development organizations in your town. In the United States, every state has a Department of Employment Security. They're the folks who give out the unemployment checks, and they also provide job search training to people who are on unemployment. So they do courses, they do classes, they do whatever. And a lot of folks who work at those uh, workforce development centers are career coaches on the side, which is as logical as we could hope for. Yeah, let's see. What is the fee? If you're interested in this program, learning to be a career coach and start your own business, the thing to do is drop a note in my LinkedIn inbox or write to us at support@humanworkplace.com, and we'll send you, information. Would you be able to provide more insight into the mindset of getting a survival job without acting like a submissive dog? That's a good question. Assuming the employer expects the candidate. I don't think, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is truly the energetic topic, right? Because People say to me quite often, I was a CFO, I was a chief financial officer 2 months ago. I got laid off. That's not my fault. Absolutely right. And I walked into, Target, the retail store, and they wouldn't even hire me. And they're kind of affronted. And it's like, you can't be affronted. It's Target. They're looking for people that will be in that job for a couple of years. And, you know, um, I agree with Target in that case. You're going to get another senior level financial. The Target is not there to fill in the short term financial needs of laid off executives. And this is where I would recommend to someone that rather than going to Target, which isn't going to pay them enough to meet their bills anyway, they should consult and get a shingle out there. And a lot of people are nervous about that. I understand. Just like we're talking about starting a career coaching business. It's like a nervous, like, I don't know, could I be a career coach? Would it be hard? I was that way before I started consulting. I was such a corporate person. I mean, I was the HR chief. Who's more? I was like, my boss would joke if I got cut, I would bleed the company's Pantone red. I was, and I was totally into that, and I love my coworkers, and I love being, an HR person, and coming up with ways to make the environment really great and fizzy and awesome. And I thought, I'm never going to consult. It's terrifying, if I'm honest, terrifying to think about asking people for money and having them. I don't know. I'm not doing that. And then through a series set of curious chances, I started consulting, and it was like, oh yeah, I was worried about literally nothing. It wasn't scary. There were so many things in my corporate job that were so much scarier than just consulting with actually a guy down the block who had a business in the same industrial park, and he needed basic HR help, a handbook and whatever, an application form. And I was like, okay, I can call and get the posters for your break room door that lay out, relevant employment laws. Super easy to do. And so it gave me confidence. And it's the same thing with starting a coaching business. You envision it, and it seems really scary and remote and unlikely. And how can I make this happen? And then as time moves forward, and you get used to that vision, you say, no, this is exactly what I'm going to do. The vision may shift over time, it may get refined, but this is what I want to do. I feel like this is the next step for me, and I'm going to pursue it, because what's the worst that could happen? Right? I would never say quit your job and just jump into career coaching. No way. You have to build a career coaching business, and it takes time. It takes time. People leave these workforce development centers to be full-time career coaches, and they give up that income. And it takes a few months to build that income back up, and it takes work. It's not like snapping your fingers. It's not a get rich quick thing by any means, but it is a way to gain independence and to bring more of yourself into your work, perhaps, and to have an income that isn't dependent on your performance review from somebody else who might have been not even your boss 6 months ago, but now they are, and they get to decide your pay increase. Weird, right? So this is why people do it. This is why they get into career coaching. Okay, so you've got your vision. So the next thing is to say, let me try to operationalize that vision. Have this vision for my career coaching, and I'm going to work with high school students, young people, or people at the beginning of their career. And so I'm going to do a lot of group stuff. I'm going to do a lot of group coaching, and I'm going to establish relationships with all the educational institutions in this area, cast a wide net, and just do some free webinars in hopes of doing some paid stuff, and then partnering with the institution that maybe doesn't have resources there on site for the students, that I could be their backup, and I could be that resource for students and their families who need help getting these jobs, even if it's their first job or their second job. And then the parents might need help. That happened to me. I taught a lot at community colleges and four-year colleges, and the parents would be in the back sometimes because they're welcome to come, and they'd come to an event, and then afterwards, do you do any of this for grown-ups? Yeah, sure. Right. But I'm stepping out of the active coaching because I have to. Our business, there's no way to do it. And so I'll teach other people to do that coaching, and I will support them and equip them and encourage them and help them get through the various issues and pitfalls and obstacles that come up, to be really successful in what they're doing. see. I think we're good here. I think we're on the same exact question we had before. So, so now you've got this idea for a coaching business and you're kind of operationalizing it on the ground, saying, okay, so how will I get this business going? I guess I'll pick a name. I guess I'll start a bank account. I'll get a number from the government to be able to do business under the number. So even if career coaching doesn't include licensing or certification that I'm aware of, it still might require you having a business at all, might require you to be on file with perhaps your city, municipality, maybe your county, definitely your state if you're in the US, right? And so you get all that business stuff put to bed. And it doesn't take long. It's just remembering city, state. Okay, I'm good with the feds. I got my ID number. Although you can do career coaching under a social security number too. But you'll probably meet with a lawyer one time and just make sure that's all squared away. So you really feel like you have a solid. You'll pick a name. If you pick a name, make sure someone else isn't using that name, or it isn't someone's going to write to you and say you can't use that name because it's a trademark. So you just do a little bit of this kind of business planning. And then you start thinking, okay, so what do I need to earn if I'm a career coach? What's that revenue? How does that divide down to a number of clients? You know, a lot of career coaches charge in the United States $100, 125, 150 per hour. And so you sort of do that math and say, okay, so what would a bundle of services look like? What would a resume rewrite or creation of a new resume cost? What would it cost for other things like writing pain letters, you know, looking at a LinkedIn profile, helping a person with correspondence with employers? You know, how would I monetize this so that I'm hitting my income goals? Maybe not right away in the first month, but over a period of months that I see that growth. You know, so you're going to get really practical about that because your business has to sustain you, right? Has to pay your bills. I've been a happy consultant since I finished my master's program specifically to work as a temp. Don't understand that, but it's all because you didn't want to work full time. No regrets and do not miss the horror of full time corporate. I know I'm with you. I'm with you, but it's a big fear factor for a lot of people. And I feel for them because I was them. I thought it was, super scary. A lot of people do. Let's see. Any credible qualification or certification you suggest for a career coach? I'll tell you what, I mean, life experience for me is the big one, and a little bit of a track record of trying stuff, stepping out of boxes. This would be a pretty big get a cat, Cosmo. I would get a cat, Cosmo, but my son comes up here a lot and he is allergic, and I'm not going to do that to him. But I love kitties. I would have 9 of them in here right now. You would not believe the kitties would be everywhere, and dogs. I'd have dogs too. We just got out of the animal zone after, I don't know, 30 years of every animal, every mammal, every reptile. We had them all. We had all the guinea pigs. We had the rabbits. We had the house rabbits. We had the whole entire dog, cat, lizard, all of the stuff, fish. But right now we're pet free because just situational. Um, qualifications, so Neil, it's maturity, the understanding that the important stuff is not always what's on the page, but sort of what's in the background. Honesty, empathy. For a career coach, we're not looking at the worldwide society. Do I sound a little bit skeptical? Maybe. Yeah. Well, think about it. What would it be? The standard way that people are taught, especially in institutions, of looking for a job is horrible. It doesn't work, and it crushes your flame. So I imagine looking at whoever might be certifying career coaches and saying, yeah, you should get that. No, I'm not going to tell you that, because the reason I started career coaching was I was horrified by what we're telling people. Bow down, bend yourself into pretzel shapes, be who the employer wants you to be. How about just go to the next employer, especially because right now there's a war for talent. And we have to integrate that knowledge that yeah, you have something amazing that not every employer deserves, rather than, well, here's how you have to do this, and you have to write your resume this way, and be sure you don't do this, and be sure you don't do that. I mean, horror stories. Right. Now, let me just be quick to say the career coaches I know are awesome, right? They're awesome, awesome people doing great work and helping people. I'm just saying the structure, they are very often fighting, like I am, the traditional mindset around career coaching, which is not, in my opinion, especially healthy or helpful. So there's my answer on that. Qualifications, be a human being, number one. That's number one, two, three, four, and five. Is it advisable to career coach the same area of one's experience, Sunil? I mean, sure. If you're knowledgeable, a lot of people go into recruiting in their area of experience when they burn out on IT or engineering or whatever, because they make a bundle of money. Not that everything is all about money, but they do make money, and so and they go into recruiting because they already know the jargon, they know the terminology, they know what it means. And listen, as a recruiter, credibility with the hiring managers, which could be CIO, CTO, is worth its weight in gold to be able to talk to those folks in their own language. Oh, I see you're doing this kind of project, right? So you're going to need somebody with this. Finally, Sunil, I'm talking to someone who speaks my language, right? Because a lot of recruiters don't know the terminology, kind of fake it. So, that's okay too. But if you really know the jargon and what it means, it's a huge advantage. So, your recruiting is another option for a lot of technical people that don't want to do that work anymore. But absolutely, career coaching is one as well. Okay. Building the platform from the ground up. Let's see. Oh, yep. I didn't answer your question. Survival job without acting like a submissive dog. I went on a tangent. Can't believe I did that. Don't do it. You go in there and they say, so I see you've been working as a quality control inspector for XYZ software. Why do you want to work at Wendy's? And you say, I left the software company. They had a big shakeup, and our whole department was laid off, and I need a job where I can just like come to the job and really focus on what I'm doing. I need a break from that world, honestly. And, I want to do this. And actually, the summer's coming and it's going to be perfect because my 7-year-old is going to be off school, and it'll be a fantastic opportunity to hang with them, when I'm not working. And I hope I bring a little maturity and a little, gravity. I hope I'm kind of a good mentor to maybe the younger folks, and, somebody that you could depend on. That would be my hope if you would um, have me join the company, that I would be somebody on the list, on the roster, that you could really depend on. And they might say, come on in. Doesn't change who you are. It's just a step on your path. It's just, our paths are circuitous. They're not a straight line. Used to be a straight line for a lot of people, but now it's here, there. And I'm working at Wendy's, and I've met the most interesting people, and I really understand a lot more now about point of service, and how it relates to supply chain. Global supply chain issues have become like vivid to me now, and I see how all this stuff connects. And I love my coworkers, and it's really turning into like the perfect thing for me right now, right? There's no groveling required, and I don't want you to ever to grovel or play the submissive dog on a job interview ever, ever, ever again, or any other setting for that reason. We're just getting rid of that idea that that's necessary or expected to have a good career. It's actually the opposite. It's stepping through your fear to say, no, this doesn't work for me. I tell my kids and our clients to bring the right things in. You have to slam the door on the wrong things. And you have to slam the door so hard the building shakes. Boom, no. It's not anger. It's just, oh, that's a no. That's such a no. That's the knowest no ever uttered. That is like the biggest no. You have to be ready to slam the door and forget about it and say it wasn't the right thing. Right? It's the same way in romantic relationships and friend relationships, right? You keep dating the wrong people because you don't think you're worthy of the right people. The right people are not going to show up, right? You have to be polite. But when you say, no, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, you say to yourself, you say to the universe, to the unsuitable people, guess what happens? You create a space for the right person to come in. What do you think of competency-based interviewing? I did a job for 14 months on a temp contract, but didn't pass the CB interview, so didn't get the job permanently. Sad. I'm so sorry to hear that. And they super didn't deserve you. What the heck? Competency-based. Now I'm going to ask you two questions to assess your level of competency with this abstract term that could mean any number of things to any number of different people, but I now will evaluate you on it. Gross. Can we not? This is junk science. It's garbage. It's nonsense. It's insulting. Ask my supervisor how I did for 14 months on the job. Just ask. Just ask. Just do me the favor. Just ask. How was Janine? Janine was ridiculous. Janine was so awesome on this project that like, please, can we really just get Janine here as a permanent No, I'm sorry. We have a competency based. That's what we're dealing with. I call the enemy this mindset, this structure of rules and policies and junk science and unnecessary metrics and fear instead of trust. I have a name for it. I call it Godzilla, like the movie Monster Lizard from the Deep. Because it's this like scaly. We're breaking it down. I mean, look at, we have people arguing for their rights and standing up for their rights now. That's new. I mean, we didn't have that for a long, long, long time, and now they are. And things are shifting, and new laws are popping up in different states in the United States and cities, and it's great. It's great. And people individually starting to say no. I told you a couple weeks ago, Goldman Sachs, the CEO said everybody has to come back to work on Monday. And they were like, how about if we don't? 50% of the people did not go back to work. Guess what? They're not fired. They didn't get fired. Calling your bluff is what that's called, right? Let's force the issue. And we're not coming back to work. So we're working, but we're working at home. I mean, is it really that bad? Can you deal with it? Don't get me started on that topic. Groveling. I see so much of it on LinkedIn, from deep compromises on compensation packages all the way up to the cloying saccharine farewell posts. It makes me lose faith in humanity. Don't lose faith. It's just fear-based. Don't. I know. Don't. It's just fear-based. Now I can't speak anymore. Janine, of course. Of course. I mean, remembering how absurd this one I'm talking about. See the absurdity, and then it's almost like you're still hurt and angry, but some of it seeps away. Like, it's just so absurd. It's just so nonsensical. And it's our buying into that Godzilla system that ends up hurting us, right? Like buying into the idea that if I go on enough like Tinder dates or Hinge or whatever, like, this, like it's a serial process. It's not. It's not like after 9 dates or 15 dates with unsuitable people. It's like me remembering who I am. And that's like a boom. That's like a electrical shock, right? It's the same way on the career stuff. It's the same way on the job. Um, realizing like, what? What? I didn't pass this random thing that I had no way to prepare for, but you just threw these questions at me instead of looking at what I actually did here in the building. God, okay, fine, thank you. You do not deserve me. Truly, it's hard to take that in because my boss deserved me, but you guys don't. And that means the company doesn't. So I don't know what. My boss is kind of on her own or their own, because I'm out of here. I wish her or them all the best, or him. But yeah, no, if this would be the reason, that I don't get that, okay, fine. I'm glad to know now rather than a few months from now. Thank you so much, Sharon. So glad that you were here. The email address is support, SUPPORT, at humanworkplace.com. This is recorded, Rania. This video right here will be on LinkedIn for a few days at support at humanworkplace.com. That's HUMANWORKPLACE. I've got 4 sons who are musicians. You would think one of them could write me a little jingle. Really, it wouldn't be that hard. I love your work, Liz. Thanks, Terrell. I'm an educational and career coach. How do I maintain persistence in winning the battlefield of the mind, building my business? Okay, great question. So, how do you build a business where it's kind of you and then the world is out there and it's like, are they getting this? Are they hearing me? I would develop, and this will be the final question, and we'll wrap up. Oh, it was your boss who interviewed you. Sorry to disappear, Terrell. I'll be back. It was your boss. So there we go, Janine. There we go. It was your boss. 14 months, 14 months of your labor, of your ideas, of your goodwill, and oh no, competency based. Like, okay, God bless all y'all. God bless. Thank you. Universe wants me elsewhere. That is a hard pill to swallow, but it's like I'm swallowing the pill because I listen to these messages because they guide me along with my trusty gut. They didn't deserve you, Janine, at all. At all. It's like harsh, but it's so good, really. So good. Okay, Terrell. So the idea is how do I have some clients, but not as many as I want. I want to grow. How am I going to grow this business? So there's two pieces to this, and we'll wrap up with this. Number one is to create your own schedule of activities that is not waking up in the morning in a panic and saying, I need another $2,000 this month just to pay my bills, right? It is a programmatic approach. I'm going to post on social media twice a week, depending on the platform, more often. If it's LinkedIn, it could be always just whatever, 850 million people over here looking at this stuff. And I'm going to post about what matters to me, right? Nothing cheesy, but just, topics that I care about, short posts that share my ideas, my thoughts, and a little bit of contact information. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to uh, take care of my body. If I stretch or do yoga or work out, I'm going to do that regardless of what else is going on because that's fundamental, literally fundamental, my body, right? I'm going to live the rest of the life that I've designed around this career coaching. If I have a part-time job, if I'm doing a little bit of consulting to what in parallel with the career coaching because they go hand in hand, any kind of career development or HR consulting or team building or any of that kind of stuff is a perfect matchup with career coaching. I'm going to spend some time, maybe every couple of days, on thinking about the business development and the marketing. Have I thought about groups? Have I thought about approaching institutions of various kinds? Or have I thought about doing an online course or maybe some online group coaching? The thing about career coaching is the options are limitless. You don't have to meet everybody at Panera anymore, right? There's so many ways to get the word out and to build your brand and build your flame and monetize your business that you could have a lot of really good profitable time just doing that and also feel good, grow your confidence at the same time. So as always, it's so great to see you, and I will be here next week on Thursday, and or will I? Yes, I will. Following week, I will not. But please follow me on LinkedIn if you're not already. Please think about it. We are at Human Workplace. Our mission is to reinvent work for people. And if you're interested in learning with me how to be an independent career coach or add our curriculum to your career coaching practice, send me an email at support@humanworkplace.com or drop a note in my LinkedIn inbox. Thanks so much.